and welcome to my channel. I'm talking about unwanted stuff. Today I'm going to speak about One Direct Priority, an anime that from the first episode I thought that this is going to make me feel sad, and honestly it did. There were some moments in this anime that was like, oh my god, that hurts so bad. But One Direct Priority first aired January 13, 2021. It's a season anime from the previous season and ended at March 31 the same year, of course, with 12 episodes, psychological drama and fantasy the genre, and it's actually an original work from Shinji Nojima. And honestly, when I heard that it's an original work, I had my doubts, or at least I was skeptical about, because most of the original anime that I have seen do not always get in the best direction, and they do not always have an ending that I can understand. That's why I had my, how do I say this, I kept my expectation low because it was an original work, but honestly I was quite surprised that this was actually a very nice work done. Very nice work, visual, story, art, everything was very nice. Even the plot, even the parallel universe that girls were into, everything made sense. If you actually sit down and understand what's going on, it made sense. You would actually understand what the story is about and where this is going. At first, we have the story of Ai, a girl that actually shot herself in after the suicide of her best friend, and always one of the few people that actually talked to her and they made friends with her. After the suicide, Ai was a hikikomori, shut in, and she did not go to school. Her mother really did not busy her around, meaning that she understood the phase her daughter was going through, and she did not push her to go to school. Of course, there was a teacher there that was really pressuring her to go to school because that would be the best thing for a student to do. But I would understand why I wouldn't go to school. A place where she cannot find her friend anymore, and probably the place that her friend actually died. Why someone would go to a school that remind them of their best friend, right? So I did that, and one day while she was in Crossroad, at least that's how it seemed to be, she happened to own an egg. So this egg, they explain as what's the purpose of it later in the same episode, in the first episode. So that egg actually will transport you to a parallel universe or whatever it was, where you will have to defeat the master of the girl that was inside the egg. There is a specific scene in the toilet in the first episode that we see the egg growing big and they're popping, and the girl actually is sewing the egg. Kind of weird way to actually do that, but yeah, the girls that pop out of the egg are girls that kill themselves, and they kill themselves because of their problems. And now Ai has to defeat the demons of that girl in order for her to move on, you would say. And that was the beginning of Ai's adventure to defeat all those personal monsters that each of those girls had. In the same episode, we found out that if you defeat those demons in a regular basis and you do it very often, you might be able to actually free your friend from those stone chains that they have, and they can be able to move on in the afterlife, something like that. At first we thought that I was alone in this adventure, but later in the episode, like right in the next episode, we find out about the existence of Neiro. The reason she defeats those monsters is because of her sisters. She wants to save her sister, and that's why she defeats those monsters. Of course, the girls are not alone in this adventure they have. There are two puppet looting guys that are called Uraka and Aka. Those two puppets, or something like that, actually provide the girls with the eggs, where, the girl will actually grow out of the egg and they have to defeat the demons. They sell those eggs to the girls with the promise that they will free their friends sometime in the future. Something like that. Those two puppets is like, the moderators, or at least they keep in touch, or they look at what's going on. They do not have a very strong presence or important at all. Literally, I did not understand their importance in there until the last episodes. And I'm not going to say anything about the last episodes. After some episodes, we see the third girl, Rika, who is, as you can see, a very tomboyish looking girl, and she used to be an idol of what sorts. Really did not get, because when she was defeating those monsters, it seems that she did not have that job of her, so it was weird for me. She was an idol, and while she was an idol, there was a certain fund that will do anything for her, like literally everything. So Rika was calling that girl living walking wallet, which was very offensive for me, very offensive, extremely offensive, honestly. But that's how Rika called her. And one day that girl, the living wallet, died. Suicided, actually killed herself. And from that moment on, Rika went to a journey with her guilt, because she felt that she drew that girl through to take her own life. Oh my goodness. And that's why Rika fought those monsters in order to free her friend. Even though Rika did not want to call her her friend, she continuously insisted on calling her living wallet. We all know that she actually liked that friend. Honestly, even though I can understand her past and what she went through, her personality is not one of those people that I would go along with. Honestly, I wouldn't go along with girls like that because of how they act. But from the anime, when I saw her, I was like, okay, maybe I'm judging too quickly. Maybe she's a good girl deep, deep down. One of the characters that were last introduced, and honestly one of my favorite characters, was actually Momoe. Momoe, honestly, is a very tall young girl, a very beautiful young girl, honestly, but the way she acts and the way she dresses, actually, she's getting mistaken a lot of time for a boy. She has the height of a model, the beauty of a model, but because of how she dresses, or at least the way that other people perceive her as a boy, she's getting confused as a boy. She does not like that. She wants to be a female, she wants to be seen as a female, and she really does not want for people to mistake her as a male. Her journey, her adventure is to save one of the girls that confessed to her, saying that I love you. Yes, and because Momoe, I do not remember if Momoe actually, rejected her or turned her down. Momoe's journey was to save a girl that confessed to her, and they had already close relationship with, friendly relationship. When that girl actually killed herself, now Momoe was to save that girl and release the soul to the afterlife. Honestly, Momoe's character, out of all the four, I felt a little bit more sympathetic about, especially in that episode that she was asked out on a date by a male. She was very happy that a male acknowledged her existence, and unfortunately she thought that male acknowledged her as a female. Later, in that same episode, in the same day, Momoe realized that boy thought of Momoe as a boy. The reason that boy asked Momoe out, it was because he was probably into males. And I was like, okay, it might seem funny, but it's not. It's really not. When a girl is mistaken by a male and she does not want to be mistaken as a male, and then she goes to a date and that male says, oh, I thought that you were a male. I did not realize that you are a female. I'm sorry, I'm into males. Yeah, that was very sad. I was like, oh my girl, what you had to endure in that day. Really sad for that. Honestly, I'm not going to say what happens in the end. I do not want to spoil anything because this series is honestly very nice. You see, for and actually many other psychological problems. We have a shut-in, someone that seems that does not really have emotions or whatsoever, a girl that thinks that every fan is a living wallet, and a girl that feels guilty, or at least she does not want to be mistaken as a boy. We have a lot of problems here. Honestly, I mean, it's a psychological drama, and if you're interested to psychological drama, this is definitely one of the things that you have to watch. Like, seriously, you have to watch. There are not many monologues, like extremely monologues. You can actually see how they fight with adversities, and that's one of the dialogues that I was like, okay, maybe one of those dialogues I am like, oh my god, that's painful. Especially if you remember Momoe's last monster with what she defeated, was like, oh my god, that's a very disturbing monster. Honestly, it was a very disturbing monster. How the story progressed, how the visuals were, the character development, everything was beautiful, everything was nice. Of course, there was a small, tiny, bitty, itchy problem for me, somewhere in the middle of that season in One Direct Priority, like 6th or 7th episode, I do not remember exact which episode was it, when the Uraka and Aka gave them jewels. And every single one of the girls, they gave them jewels. At that moment I was like, oh my god, this thing is going dangerously very into Madoka Magica stuff, because in Madoka Magica they also have those jewels that are supposed to be also their life. Yes, now I'm remembering an exact scene that we all, if we have seen Madoka Magica, we know that particular scene. So when they gave those jewels to the girls, I was like, okay, each already had some Madoka Magica stuff in it, but now that it actually gave them the jewels, I was like, okay, let's take a step back and let's review what the hell is going on, because I do not want a transition to Madoka Magica, because that thing was disturbing. That was my only complaint, that I felt, oh my god, this is going to Madoka Magica. That's the only thing, actually. Only the only thing. After that, everything else, the girls' problems, how they try to solve their problems, how they fight the monsters, in each and every single girl, I felt that, okay, for some people, those problems might not be reason for, to kill yourself, but you were never in their shoes to understand what they've went through. You were watching it and every single girl that's being saved, and you were like, okay, maybe we should rethink how we think stuff, and we might actually help them, because if we do try to help those people, maybe they will not go to the extent, the very end, to take their own lives, because for a person to take their own lives, they must be, in that stage of life that nothing can be solved or fixed anymore for the person that actually took their lives. Honestly, from the beginning till the end, the problems, I do not want to actually, put them into a scale, or at least, try to grade them. I do not want to do that, but I could actually see from transitioning to this to going to an extreme big, like, this is a scale that it goes from a very serious problem, but then in the last episode you were like, oh my god, this is too much. That's what you were thinking. There is a transition on the problems there. Still, the master that Momo last fought off, it was one of those monsters that was like, oh my god, yeah, please defeat that monster. We do not need that in our life. Like, I hated that monster. It was disturbing and I hated that monster. In total, the series was just brilliant. The way they actually talked with the audience, or actually tried to tangle the enders with them and actually thinking and this stuff, I was like mesmerized by it. And honestly, One Direct Priority is definitely in the top 5 of winter season 2021. Like, definitely One Direct Priority is amongst those top. And I'm very happy that I was of the fandom that was watching One Direct Priority. I love that series. I doubt that it's going to have a second season, and I'm definitely going to rewatch this series 100% in the future. Of course, I'm going to recommend Friends. This is just a brilliant piece of work. We thank all the staff that did such a hard work in here. We thank Shinji Nojima. You really did a great job. Every single one of the staff did an amazing job. Enjoyed the series 100%. It's an amazing series that every single one of you have to watch. Like, literally, it's one of the series that you're like, yes, that's very good. That's an exception that I really like. And honestly, I like psychological. When everything, if anything has to do with psychological, I will actually go and watch it because I'm very fan of that psychological drama, psychological thriller. I love that stuff. So this was the end of today's review, I would say, to Wonder Egg Priority, even though it's not a review per se, just my honest opinion about how I felt about Wonder Egg Priority, which was a diamond for me. I love that series, definitely worth the 9 that I gave it. And if you liked this video, please subscribe and put a like. I do other stuff as well, and it means the world to me if you actually check out my other content as well. Please subscribe and put a like, and hopefully guys, I will see you soon. Bye!